These lectures offers our conscious minds ways to address our soul properly according to the Holy Quran. Islam is a religion of peace.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك وارنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا وابعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم.
I have tasted all that is sweet, but I found nothing sweeter than good health. And I tasted all that was bitter, but nothing was more bitter than being in need of good people. And I carried both iron and rocks, but nothing was more heavier than death. And I discovered that, therefore, that life comprises only of 2 days, a day for you and a day against you. So when it is for you, do not be reckless, and when it is against you, be patient, because both days will expire. If you can't be a bridge to connect people, don't be a wall to separate them. If you cannot be a light to brighten people's good deeds, then don't be a darkness that covers their efforts. If you can't be water to help people's crops sprout, then don't be a pest destroying their crops. And if you can't be a vaccine to give life, don't be a virus to terminate it. If you cannot be a pencil to write anyone's happiness, then try to be a nice eraser to remove their sadness. We can only be each other's keeper. My name is Mariam Owoduni. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another exciting episode on the message is beautiful Jumat. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We thank Almighty Allah for sparing our lives today. May we continue to have reasons to praise, worship, and thank Almighty Allah. Amen. As we all know that the message is a program dedicated to dismantling doubts and nurturing convictions by addressing relevant topics affecting today's society. This lectures offers our conscious minds ways to address our soul properly according to the Holy Quran. Islam is a religion of peace, tranquility, and psychological calm will only be achieved by believing in Almighty Allah. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. We thank Almighty Allah for making us a Muslim and a practicing one at that. May we continue to be so. Amen, amen, amen. Ẹnu ọpẹ́ wa ò ní kan. Àní bá wọn dúpẹ́ tipátipá. Àní bá wọn dúpẹ́ túláàsì. Inshallah Rahman, àánú Ọlọ́run tó ti wà pẹ̀lú wa kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Amen, amen, amen. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Once again, ṣe dáadáa lábáyín. Ọlọ́run wá jẹ́ kí a máa wà dáadáa. On today, we are going to be laying emphasis on parenting. Yes, that is what we are going to be laying emphasis on, because parenting impacts us as a society at large. And whether we agree or not, the outcome of what a child is going to turn out to be is largely dependent on the upbringing they get, whether we like it or not. Surely, we all pray that our kids, that they should be best, but while praying, we need to be practical too, and we should do our best as per Islamic teachings. Then we leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Almighty Allah continue to make our children the coolness of our eyes. Amen. In our present society, most individuals have been brought up the cultural way, and not the Islamic way. And if we look at it critically at our society has become, then we are going to agree that it is because most of us has failed, yes, in carrying out our responsibilities by instilling good values in our kids. Yes, most of us has failed when we look at the society now, because we keep using the cultural way and we all can see the outcome in the society. Every day we read about bad marriages, and sometimes you are left wowed that so this certain thing is still happening, and you keep wondering that how do we people and how do we Muslims women get it wrong? How did we get ourselves here to this present day? How things are in the society? I mean, who raised men and women of nowadays that we are being forced to put up today? Because in our society it has become very rampant among us, especially Muslims men and women, that they are embodiments of different vices, like characterless, some humanizing, some are egoistic and rude and irresponsible, violent, and the list is almost endless. May Almighty Allah continue to have mercy on us. So, and we keep wondering that who are the people that are bringing these people up? And at the end of the day, it's boiled down to we women and we mothers. We are the one that is in charge. I know it's for both parents, it's both parties that are meant to bring up their words and their kids, but it's mostly largely dependent on we women and mothers. What are we doing? Yes, unless we want to deceive ourselves, that is when we are not going to agree that bringing up a child is largely dependent on we women. But the question is, what are we teaching our kids? That is the question. We women that we are in charge of raising the kids, what are we teaching them? What are we instilling in them? What are the values and morals we are instilling in them? We need to ask ourselves these questions, because the upbringing of a child or children is largely dependent on us. You will see a grown Muslim man or woman that keeps smiles for weeks, and then you keep asking that you are a Muslim and you are offering your salat, and you say you are a Muslim and you are keeping malice with people. How are you doing that? Yes, these are the questions that we ask. This is because when these people are just a child, we are supposed to tell them that anger and malice has no place in Islam. Yes, anger and malice has no place in Islam. It is not allowed in Islam. But we console ourselves that they are still children, they are kids, that they are going to change. We forget that it is easier to nurture a child than to correct an adult. So we should be very, very careful in the values and morals we instill in our children. May Almighty Allah continue to make it easy on us. So, Amen, amen, amen. And while we are busy training ladies how to dress modestly, did you teach the boys how to lower their gaze? Yes, did we ask them, or do we think modesty is only for women? No, modesty is for everybody. Yes, as long as you are human, you need to be modest. And we do teach them that they have control over what they see. They can control what they want to see and what they do not want to see. And we will tell them that looking at other women or looking at other people that are not their mahram is wrong. When we are cautioning ladies about how to guide their chastity, we do caution the boys to do the same too. And we do tell them that in front of Almighty Allah, that zina is zina. Or do you think that you are going to get different punishment because your gender is different from the other gender? Let's reflect. Yes, because in the sight of Almighty Allah, irrespective of your gender, any sin you commit, you are going to get your punishment. So we need to change our mentality as people and as a society. And all the time we spend in grooming the female child on how to be perfect mother, girls and all that, we should remember to do the same to the male child too. It is very, very important. We should teach them about responsibilities on how to be a man, a good father and a good husband too. Yes, we should not assume that they should know it automatically, because at the end of the day, men are humans too, and they need to learn all these things, because they did not bring it automatically from heaven. With all the things we get to know, we learn it on earth. Yes, so we need to teach them too. Don't let us ignore our male children while we are grooming our female children too. This is very, very important. It is very, very important. And we should not assume that he's a man that no matter how bad it is, that he is going to get himself a wife that is going to worship him. May Almighty Allah continue to have mercy on us all. And why we are teaching the girls that house chores are fully our responsibilities. Yes, that it is not in our husband's place to render any assistance. Did you also tell them that in Islam it is 100% responsibility of the man to feed, to house, to clothe, and do a lot more for his wife? Because nowadays we say it's 50-50. So while at it, we should nurture our words properly. Yes, because Almighty Allah forbid when you are partial. All these things are things that we need to remind ourselves as people and as women, because the raising of kids is mostly dependent on us. We should teach our girls to be patient and submissive. We do tell the men how to be patient too. These are the things we need to teach them too. If you want a balanced society, if you want a more sane society, these are the things we need to look into. We need to look inward. Yes, and we need to go back to the Holy Quran. Now, we have been doing it the cultural way, and we can see the results we are getting. So we need to go back to the Holy Quran and get it right. May Almighty Allah continue to make it easy on us all. We should not forget that our children are our manna. Yes, and we are going to be held accountable on the day of judgment. So don't get me wrong, I know parenting is both responsibilities of the parents, but we women, yes, it is very, very important for us, and we should not take it with levity. We should take it with as our responsibility, because we are the one the kids are closer to. So we need to stand up. We need to stand up to our responsibility, because the different things are happening in the society, and we keep wondering, why is this happening? Some will say iya omo ida. Yes, when things are happening, they won't even ask baba omo ida. The first question they are going to ask is iya omo ida. So that is how we are going to know that it is our responsibility as women to raise our kids right. We should stop raising children that are callous, that lacks empathy. We should raise kids that are full of kindness, that are very, very, that have empathy, and they are kind. These are the kids we should raise. Yes, we should not forget that it is very easy to correct a child than an adult. That is why we should catch them young. When they are young, we should teach them things they need to know as mothers. May Almighty Allah continue to guide us and be sufficient for us. Because if you look at the society now, we have a lot of people, not even women alone, we have a lot of men too that they are in marriages and they are not happy. So we need to look out for one another. When we say women supporting women, how are we supporting ourselves? And how can we support ourselves? Is by me raising my kids right. And when you do the same, that is when we are really supporting one another. May Almighty Allah continue to make it easy on us all. Amen. We need to go back to the Holy Quran and raise our kids right. May our kids continue to be the coolest of our eyes. Amen. We will be right back after this short break. Thank you.
ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة لك وأرنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا وابعث فيهم رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياتك ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة ويزكيهم إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا أفرج علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا وإليك المصير ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين أعوذ بالله من
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the message this beautiful Jumas, and the topic we are discussing is parenting. Yes, like I said earlier, that parenting is largely dependent on we women and mothers, and we need to rise up to our responsibility. We need to catch them young, because it is easier to correct a child than an adult. Yes, this is very, very important. And now most kids are on holiday. We need to encourage them. We need to take it as our responsibility to make them go to their madrasa. Yes, it is very, very important. Don't say when schools are on session, we use that as an excuse that some will say, oh man, kweko day lati school. Now that they are home, please, let's endeavor to encourage them and to tell them to go to their Arabic school. May Almighty Allah continue to be sufficient for us all. Amen, amen, amen. Yes, and we should not forget that we should continue to pray our 5 times daily prayer and our voluntary prayers too. We should recite and reflect on our Holy Quran regularly. We should engage in dhikr and supplications. We should make lots of dua, and we should continue to give charitable giving and voluntary work too. Yes, Islam is the way of life. Islam is humanity. Without Islam, there cannot be humanity. People say humanity first, and I say Islam first, because Islam is humanity. Without Islam, you cannot get humanity. So let's endeavor to do what we are meant to do at the right time. And we should reflect too. Self-reflection, it is very, very important. We should reflect on our personal growth, our challenges, and our areas of improvement too. This is very, very important. We should always share our experience with others and to encourage them too. Yes, be a person that has emotional intelligence and full of empathy. Make sure you are someone that when someone comes to you sad, when they are leaving, they will be full of smiles. Yes, don't be a person that will always put people down. Islam does not encourage this. Yes, and we should make sure we always set goals for our spiritual growth and self-improvement. It is very, very important. Yes, may Almighty Allah continue to be sufficient with us all. Amen, 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 amen. And we should not forget that as Muslims, there is no escape from the trials of this world. There is no escape. You can't say you are a Muslim and you believe in Almighty Allah and you will not be tested. If your trials is not yet, if you are not yet trialed, just be patient. because it is going to come, whether we accept, whether we like it or not. We can only make supplications, we can only beg for mercy from Almighty Allah. Now whenever our trials are here, it should not be more than what we can bear, and we should be patient and full of prayers, and we should hold on to these words that verily with every hardship comes ease. We should worry less and pray more and trust Almighty Allah. May Almighty Allah continue to guide us, grant us our heart desires, be sufficient for us, and to be pleased with us. Amen, amen, amen. Yes, that is why most times I tell people, allow your kids to be full of knowledge, Islamic knowledge, because when they grow into adults, trials of life are going to come. And how can you overcome trials of life? The only way you can overcome the trials of life is through prayer. Yes, through prayer, through supplications, because that's the only thing that can make us overcome trials of life with patience. Yes, we should have sabr. We should know with every difficulty comes ease, because there is no word that is written in the Holy Quran that is not going to come to pass. Yes, as Muslims, we should always remember that with every difficulty comes ease. So we should be patient. Ó ṣe pàtàkì. Nǹkan tí ọwọ́ wa ò tó, ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi gangan fà. Nǹkan tí ò tó, ó ń bọ̀ wá ṣẹ́kù. It's just time. Like the English people do say, they will say it's divine timing that is disturbing all of us. You know, if there's a way you are going to know when you are going to be successful, you don't even need to work. You just have to sleep and wake up. You wait till that day, you hope on that day. Alas, we don't know, so we can only hope, and that is the only thing we have as people, is our faith and our hope in Almighty Allah. May Almighty Allah continue to have mercy on us all. Amen. And Ya Allah, you are the remover of sorrow and the dispeller of sadness and the curer of griefs and the answerers of prayers of the troubles one. O beneficent of the world and the hereafter, and the giver of the two, you are beneficent for me and beneficent for everything. Then give me such a mercy that I become needless of all mercy from others other than you, and though it liquidates my debts. Amen. May Almighty Allah continue to be sufficient for us all. Amen, amen, amen. And oh Allah, take away from us the anger of our hearts, and forgive us our sin, and take away from us mischief and deviations. And we ask for your pleasure, and we seek refuge of your displeasure. And we ask you for paradise, and we seek refuge by you from hellfire. And we seek for you all the good, and we seek refuge from you from all evils. Yes, oh Allah, grant us blessing of today and count us among those who believe. Amen, amen, amen. May Almighty Allah continue to be sufficient for us all. Amen, amen, amen. My name is Mariam Owoduni, and thanks for joining us on today's episode. Masala.
تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم ربنا واجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا أمة مسلمة